At its meeting on October 8th, the Albemarle County School Board will make a decision whether the school division should progress to a new stage of the Return to School plan. This presentation will provide you with the most up-to-date information available about Stage 3 so that you can provide feedback on the material the school board will consider when deciding to remain in Stage 2 or move to Stage 3. As we consider the next steps of our staged approach in our Return to School plan, it's important to remember that stages present a sequenced approach to return to school from fully virtual instruction to fully in-person instruction. Public health data will guide the decisions that the school board will make regarding the Return to School plan. And ACPS will need to be fluid in order to respond to the needs of the community and public health guidance. Currently, ACPS is in Stage 2 of our Return to School plan. This means we have virtual learning for most of our students and limited in-person access for a limited number of our students. We will remain in this stage until at least November the 6th, which is the end of the first quarter this school year. In July, the school board voted to begin the school year in Stage 2. On October 8th, the halfway point of the grading period, the school board will vote on whether or not we should advance to Stage 3 for the second marking period. Any shift to a higher stage of return would take place at the start of a new marking period, but the school division could move to a more restrictive stage of returning at any time if public health conditions warrant such action. The following slides will provide an overview of Stage 3. In Stage 3, virtual learning will continue for students in grades 4 through 12, and expanded access to optional in-person learning would be offered to students who are English language learners, special education students, and students who have exhibited a lack of engagement in the virtual experience. A hybrid learning option would be available to students in grades pre-K through 3, with all families having the option of staying completely virtual. Finally, secondary students may be eligible to participate in athletics and extracurricular activities upon approval of the school division. In-person access is different from face-to-face instruction. Students participating in in-person access complete all their work virtually, but do so at one of our school buildings in a small pod that has a learning coach in the room for support. In-person access is always optional for eligible families. In Stage 3, eligibility would expand to include all special education A-base and C-base program students, English learners in grades 4 through 12 with a WIDA level of 1 through 4, and students who have shown a lack of engagement in virtual experience during Stage 2. Hybrid learning is a combination of virtual learning and face-to-face instruction with a child's classroom teacher. All students in grade pre-K through 3 are eligible for the hybrid option, but no student will be required to attend school in person. In other words, all students can remain 100% virtual if they choose to do so. We know that our youngest learners benefit from face-to-face learning and social interactions when they are in school. They are more vulnerable to a summer and COVID slide when they lack necessary foundational learning experiences needed for successful learning as they advance in grades. For instance, students who do not learn to read by grade 2 are more likely to fail to graduate than their reading peers. The hybrid learning model for students in pre-K through 3rd grade would mean face-to-face learning at school for 2 days each week, with asynchronous at-home learning 3 days each week. Elementary groups will be generally formed by utilizing virtual AM and PM synchronous groups. Groups will be adjusted to balance out group sizes. If families have children in 2 different groups in Stage 2, they may elect to change so all family members are in the same group in Stage 3. You may recall that the plan that was originally presented to the school board in July had a 4-day face-to-face schedule for students in grades pre-K through 3. Since that time, elementary principals have had a chance to review the original recommendation of 4 days a week. Due to many logistical challenges that 4 days a week puts on elementary schools, the principals recommended a shift to a 2-day week hybrid model for Stage 3. There are multiple benefits for your child in this model that include a smaller number of students in the building, which makes for easier social distancing protocols, eliminating the need for split classrooms to accommodate social distancing, meaning your child will be with his or her assigned classroom teachers at all times for face-to-face instruction. All students following the same bell schedule, and a continuation of synchronous specials during at-home learning days. Learning at school in the hybrid model will consist of students in their classroom with their teacher for face-to-face instruction, with about half of their classmates, access to outdoors, playground and the gym, instruction in the full core curriculum, a focus on social and emotional learning, including working with others and school counseling services, and students receiving face-to-face intervention services when appropriate. When learning at home, students will learn virtually through asynchronous activities that are supported by school teaching assistants, attend synchronous specials classes, and receive interventions via Zoom as appropriate. In addition to some elementary school students returning to school for face-to-face instruction, athletics and extracurricular activities for secondary students would be eligible to resume in Stage 3. Detailed information about the ACPS Athletics and Activities Reopening Plan can be found on our Return to School webpage. Creating a safe environment for all of our students and staff is the top priority as we move through the stages of returning to school. Specific details about our mitigation strategies to prevent the spread of COVID-19 can be found on our Return to School website and include a universal face covering policy, enhanced cleaning and disinfecting, health screenings for everyone entering a school building, enhanced ventilation in our classrooms, appropriate physical distancing practices, and a transportation health plan. We have created a short video to highlight what these mitigation strategies will look like in our buildings. The decision about whether or not to move to Stage 3 for the second 9-week period will be made by the school board at their meeting on October 8th. By making this decision 4.5 weeks before the end of the marking period, school staff and families have time to plan for the next 9 weeks of school. ACPS has identified 6 factors that will be considered when deciding to move to another stage. These include guidance offered by the CDC and state and local health authorities, applicable executive orders and local ordinances that may impact the ability to provide successful classroom learning, current COVID-19 conditions in the Albemarle County region and within the Albemarle County Public Schools, including but not limited to community transmission, testing positivity rates, and other public health data, status of COVID-19 testing and tracking capabilities in the Albemarle County region, ability of the Albemarle County Public Schools, including staffing and resources, to implement the division's instructional and health plans, and feedback and input from stakeholders and school communities. In preparation for the decision on October 8th, ACPS is working collaboratively with our local public health officials at the Thomas Jefferson Health District to analyze the current COVID-19 conditions in Albemarle County, including case incidents and testing positivity rates. We are analyzing this data through both the lens of the Virginia Department of Health Pandemic Metric Dashboard, created over the summer, as well as the recently released Center for Disease Control Indicators for School Decision Makers. Both dashboards are based on the same data but use slightly different timeframes and thresholds for evaluation. The metrics can be viewed on the Virginia Department of Health's website. Please note, when reviewing the VDH guidance for mitigation efforts in school settings, ACPS Stage 3 is closely aligned with Phase 2 guidance for Virginia schools. Finally, we will be providing the board with feedback that we have gained from meetings with advisory groups and from student, staff, and community surveys. All of this information will be considered as a whole by the school board as they make their decision in October. Any stakeholder who wishes to provide direct feedback to the school board may do so by emailing them at schoolboard@k12albemarle.org. The decision about returning to school is not one that our school board takes lightly. All stakeholders are encouraged to participate in this process by completing the online survey that was sent to you along with this presentation. This survey, which was sent to all families and students, is an opportunity for you to share your feedback on your experience with virtual learning to date, as well as your input on Stage 3. For additional information about our plan, please visit our Return to School webpage and review our frequently asked questions about Stage 3. The survey can also be found on the Return to School webpage in the event that you may have trouble accessing it in the original message.